Hey everyone, this is C12 Hawks coming at you today. This is my first ever GTA video. I'm going to start off by apologizing for there not being any gameplay. At this time I don't have the equipment necessary to do so. Hope to soon. Second, I want to apologize for my language. And third, bear in mind that there's going to be danger, Will Robinson. Warning, spoiler alerts ahead. Now keeping that in mind, please be patient, hang in there with me, and we're going to get through this thing together. Now, what I did want to talk to you all about today is what I personally feel are the top 10 things that the next installment of Grand Theft Auto, aka GTA 6, needs. Now, while a lot of people were asking for things like a return to the old health system, better hand-to-hand combat, revamped missions, and so on, I don't view those changes as need to happen for GTA 6. And speaking of GTA 6, rumor has it, and keep in mind this is just a rumor, that the game will be releasing sometime in 2018, which at this point in time has yet to be confirmed. Now, as for my top 10 list, coming in at number 10, more music. There really needs to be more music stations, music content, commercials, DJs, you name it, and of music variety in general. Rockstar really needs to offer music as part of future DLCs. I mean, if they can give us all that they have so far in DLC content with missions, vehicles, clothing, weapons, and so on, then they should definitely be able to give us more music content as part of those future DLCs. Coming in at number 9, car mods, both exterior and interior. While I'm not asking for every last vehicle in the game to be able to be modified like you can in Saints Row, I am asking for vehicles like the monster trucks, the delivery vans, and so on to be able to be modified. It'd be nice if Rockstar also gave us the option where we could modify the interior of the vehicles as well, whether it be different types of steering wheels, different types of dashboard layouts, setups, whatever you want to call it, fabric interiors like zebra print, cheetah print, whatever. And if Rockstar isn't going to allow us to be able to modify police, ambulances, and fire trucks and vehicles of that nature in the future and so on, then they need to at least have a garage at police headquarters, the hospitals, and the fire stations that give us the ability to fix whatever that vehicle is. You know, if we can't modify them, we should be able to at least fix them so they're good as new. Now moving on, coming in at number 8, old school weapons and vehicles. Let's go ahead and go with the old school weapons first. Now, let's bring back these old school weapons, to name a few, for GTA 6, like the cane, the chainsaw, the dildo, fire extinguisher, flamethrower, katana, pool cue, screwdriver, shovel, vibrator, and so on. And while these aren't necessarily weapons, I'd really like to see a return of the night vision goggles as well as the thermal goggles. As for new weapons, I want to see the addition of things like a barbed wire wrapped baseball bat, a crossbow, nail gun, sledgehammer, and a walking stick, just to name a few. Now when it comes to those old school vehicles, they really need to bring back the Apache Attack helicopter. Let's also bring back the Noose APC from GTA 4, the school bus. We really need to be able to get our hands on a school bus. A SWAT van like in Terminator 2, Coast Guard boats, and whatever other vehicles I'm forgetting that Rockstar has left out of GTA 5. They need to bring those back. Alright, coming in at number 7, more interactions with pedestrians/NPCs. Side note, this is going to tie in with my number 4 and number 3 on the list, but let's go ahead and deal with the number 7 first. Now, you know how you can interact with supporting characters in GTA 5 like Lamar, Ron, Dr. Friedlander, just to name a few. Then you've got the random characters you run into, and either you talk to them or you help them out, like Andy Moon, Tanisha Jackson, and other RECs. Plus you have strangers and freaks. Well, there needs to be more of that in the next GTA. Why? Because with most of them, they're one and done. Like having to run down a mugger and retrieve the stolen cash or go steal back someone's ride that just got jacked from them. These are what I call one and dones. There needs to be more depth to them and not just, oh, okay, that's what you do. You go, you run them down, kill them, get the money back, and you either keep it for yourself or you play the Good Samaritan and you take the money back to the person. Okay, now, getting back to Tanisha Jackson as an example, you help her out as Franklin a few times. She gives you a call when those missions are over. Again, spoiler alert, if you haven't played the game yet, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're waiting for, but eventually you have the opportunity to purchase the property as Franklin, the tow truck yard. Eventually, she just disappears completely. Now, that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's like you have these characters that play, I won't say a pivotal role in the game itself, but they take up a good part of it. Why just have them up and disappear? I realize some of the characters, have been disposed of, move on, yada, 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 but it just doesn't make sense that someone who is from Franklin's background and, has been around with him since back in the day, just, hey, come help me out while my crackhead husband gets over his shit and kicks his habit, and then we're just going to disappear. Okay. But anyway, here's an example that I came up with for an NPC interaction. We're going to go ahead and say you're driving down the street and the light blue circle pops up, kind of like it does with Impotent Rage, the Vinewood Zombie, Andy Moon, and so on. You stop in front of a nasty rundown looking building, you get out the car and you walk up to the guy just enough for that cutscene to begin. And he's a real shady looking dude, and he says, hey man, you want to help me out make some money? At that point, you can choose to ignore him and walk away, or you can choose to interact with him and see what he wants. Of course, if you walk away, nothing happens, other than maybe he's got something smart-ass to say. But that character will remain there until you do interact with him, much like Andy Moon, Impotent Rage, etc. Now, for this example, we're going to go ahead and say that we agree to help the guy out. We then find out that he's the slumlord who's running the apartments that are in this building. And he wants you to burn down the building for him so he can collect the insurance money, of which he'll pay you X amount of dollars once that job is complete. Again, at this point, you should still be able to either help him out or just walk away. Now, for shits and giggles, we're going to say we've agreed to help him. And he's happy. Maybe he's a little too happy. He gives you the time and day as to when the job needs to be done, and you'll be given a reminder. Kind of like how Nico was given the reminder to show up for his job interview with the law firm in GTA 4. Kind of along the same concept. Now, when the time rolls around for you to do the job for the shady guy, you'll then be presented with the option of how you want to complete it, from a list of different options, including but not limited to gasoline, Molotov cocktail, explosive device, messing with the electrical wiring, or whatever. Now, once that job is done, maybe the guy wires the money to your account. Maybe you run into him in another part of the city game, whatever, and he pays you then, setting up more missions that you can do for this character. Or maybe he doesn't pay you at all, and you've got to track his ass down and collect your money. Now, I want to point this out, and I can't stress this enough to Rockstar. This is just one area where the possibilities are numerous with interactive NPCs. And on a real quick, side note on the subject of NPCs, Rockstar, can you, for the love of God, please make the NPCs more sparse or create more variation in them? And I'm going to show you guys an example. Give me 1 second here. Okay, now that's the example that I was talking about. I literally saw two of the same NPC while taking a Vinewood tour. If you notice by looking at the picture, only difference is between the two of them is that one of them is drinking coffee. This is what I mean by there needs to be more variation in the NPCs. We've all seen it, whether we're walking or we're driving down the road. You see the same NPC 2, 3, 4 times in like a 2-block radius. That's a little ridiculous. They need to make more variation in the NPCs so we're not seeing the same fat white girl, 3 times in a 2-block stretch, or we're seeing the same 2 gentlemen on the tour bus. One's drinking coffee, the other's not, but it's obviously that it's the same character. Alright, that being said, moving on. Number 6, better car dynamics. I know this game is, it's not real life, but seeing as how it's taking on the more realistic approach as opposed to Saints Row, which has gone the more, comedic route. They really need to fix the car dynamics. Now, I did a little bit of research, and this is a fact. A typical police car weighs anywhere between 3,700 and 4,200 pounds, whereas a semi 18-wheeler, whatever you want to call it, it's got numerous names, it has a maximum weight with a full trailer of 80,000 pounds. Now, knowing this, we all know damn good and well that a 4,200 pound police car is not going to be able to get in front of an 80,000 pound vehicle hauling balls down the Sonora freeway and bring it to a slow crawl or stop it entirely. Nor would the same 4,200 pound car be able to force it off to the side of the road like it could a car of similar or smaller size. And another side note, speaking of cops, Rockstar, could you please fix the police NPC interaction / wanted level system? We've all had this issue of where we can be minding our own business, sitting at a red light. Say you're bored with the game and you're like, oh, okay, today I'm going to be, a normal citizen. I'm not going to break the law. I'm going to, just drive around and obey the traffic laws. You're not doing anything wrong. Or maybe you're parked on the side of the road, pulling up your map, doing what, I don't know, whatever the fuck it is that you do. Or, when the cops are chasing a perp, they come flying through and they crash their vehicle into us. And what happens? We get an automatic 1-star wanted level. Now that's bullshit. I know you're saying it, you're thinking it, so am I. Now, seeing as how they were at fault, it shouldn't result in anything at all. Least of all, a damn wanted level. Now let's have it to where if you incur a minor traffic violation, it results in getting pulled over and maybe even getting a ticket. Which brings me to that revamped wanted level system. If it's more serious of a crime, then a predetermined system should kick in that judges the severity and assigns that crime, whether it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to a 6-star wanted level. Yes, we need to go back to the 6-star wanted level. It gives us, the fans, and the players more leeway, and it really needs to be broken down into categories. There's no point in when some dick suck cop blasts through, hits your car, that, oh, now you're in trouble, you got the 1-star wanted level, and now they're coming after your ass. And they're either going to shoot you, arrest you, or you're going to take off and try to get away from them, which just means you rack up more stars. No. That needs to go away. We need to have a predetermined system that kicks in that says, okay, these kind of crimes, they're going to get you a warning or a ticket. These crimes, they're going to get you a 1-star. These, 2-star, 3-star, all the way up to that 6-star wanted level. And let's bring back where the FIB, GTA's version of the FBI, comes after you with that 5-star wanted level. And then the military is coming after your ass with the 6-star wanted level. All right, moving on from that, next up on the list is number 5, more side activities. Maybe it's just me, but it seems as if Rockstar scaled this back from GTA 4. Granted, we can hone our weapon skills at the gun range, play darts, go to the titty club, go out drinking, play golf or tennis, and even take in a movie with our friends, Franklin, Michael, and Trevor. And depending on whom you're playing as, if you're playing as Michael, you can do some of these things with your family. But other than that, there's not much else to do activity-wise. And here, I'm going to go on a side rant for a quick moment. And why is it that there's only one damn titty club in GTA 5? We literally had 3 strip clubs in GTA 4. Now, as big as GTA 5 is, there should have been 3 in San Andreas alone, 1 in Sandy Shores, and 1 in Paleto Bay. Alright, that's the end of my side rant. Just saying. Now let's bring back the ability to work out, getting back to more side activities, like you could with CJ and GTA San Andreas. Let's also bring back being able to go out to eat either by yourself, with your friends, a girlfriend if you have one, or a family if they decide to do the family aspect again like they did with GTA 5 and Michael. And be able to go to places and actually go inside or go through the drive-thru of places like Burger Shot, Cluck and Bell, and other fast food joints. But let's also add in a mixture of the diner type places and even upscale sit down restaurants. They completely eliminated this from GTA 5, and why? You can't walk down the street and grab a bite from a hot dog or a hamburger vendor like you could in GTA 4. You can't go into Cluck and Bell, Burger Shaw, Up and Atom, or any other fast food places, nor can you go to a diner or fancier restaurant like you could in GTA 4. Apparently, the characters we play as in GTA 5 don't need to eat. Aside from protein shakes or picking up protein bars from a 24/7, throwing back E-Cola and Sprunk from a vending machine, or imbibing in beer, liquor, and wine, that's it. Now, aside from working and eating out, ha ha ha, Rockstar needs to bring back side activities like bowling, playing the arcade games, going to dancing clubs, comedy clubs, playing pool, plus add some new shit to that mix. I don't understand why Rockstar, with such a huge map for GTA 5 and so much potential, decided to scale back on a lot of the stuff that they should have kept and then expanded upon. Another area with lots more potential, because let's face it, we need filler. And there's actually two parts to my number 4 on the list, and you'll see why. Number 4, jobs. I've been saying since Vice City that it would be badass if you could hold down a job, aside from the main storyline missions and side missions associated with it. Now, while I realize that this wasn't really possible back in 2002, it's now 2016. And with all the advances we made in gaming technology alone, it is very possible to do now. And considering the shit that we can do in GTA Online, I know damn good and well Rockstar can invest some time and some money in this and make this a possibility. Now, aside from being able to hold down a real job where you'd have to go to work each day, and depending on which job you pick from, of course there'd be a list from which you could choose, you'd be required to work either an 8 or a 12-hour in-game time shift. Failure to do so would result in loss of wages or not getting paid at all. Things like calling off too much, goofing off at work, leaving work early, and things of that nature would get you written up, suspended from work, and eventually lead to you being fired. And I have an example of this as well. Let's say you pick to work at Burger Shaw. So on certain days at a certain time, you get a reminder that you have to go to work. Just like the reminder I was talking about earlier of how they had it in GTA 4 when Nico needed to go to his interview. You then work your McJob from time A to time B, an 8-hour shift, and while one day you're working the grill preparing and cooking the food, maybe the next day you're working the cash register taking orders, and so on. With this comes the addition of many side missions like having to clean the grill, empty all the trash, and take it out to the dumpster, cleaning the bathrooms, cleaning up the lobby/eating area, washing the windows, picking up trash in the parking lot, unloading delivery trucks, etc., etc., etc. With this feature of being able to have a job, there should be a good mix of minimum wage, middle class, all the way up to corporate multi-million-dollar-a-year jobs. Again, you'd get to pick your job from a well-mixed list, and maybe better and higher paying jobs unlock at certain levels of progression with your current job. And every job would have mini missions or whatever you want to call them associated with it. And while we're on the subject of employment, I think it'd be cool if you could choose to have a good or a bad job. Meaning on one hand, you've got your good job that everyone knows about, i.e. playing as a good cop. And you've got to deal with not only doing your job and the missions associated with that, but you also have to deal with the temptation of taking bribes, looking the other way, and so on. Or maybe on the other hand, you've got your bad job, where instead of playing as that good cop, you play as a bad cop, where you can sell drugs, threaten local businesses for protection money, tamper with evidence, corrupt the crime scenes, take bribes, run protection, destroy evidence, etc. Playing as either would have consequences to your choices, like playing as a good cop. Do you do everything by the book, and in doing so alienate yourself from that inner circle of dirty cops? Maybe even having to watch your back at one point because they're trying to kill you. Or being a bad cop, running the risk of being investigated and eventually caught by AI, which is internal affairs. Yet another aspect to the game with almost unlimited potential. The second part of number 4, more side missions. Let's face it, there's never enough side missions, and that is certainly the point for GTA 5. With this, it's another endless possibility. you've got your main storyline missions, your job associated missions, and if Rockstar would bring back the pimping, extortion, loan sharking, drug running, smuggling, robbery, import, export, trucking missions, vigilante, paramedic, firefighter, pizza boy, and maybe even territories, then add some more side missions of other varieties not already mentioned. Say it with me now. The possibilities are endless and adds huge depth to the replay value. Now remember how in GTA San Andreas at night for a certain period of time you could break into homes of CJ. You wearing a ski mask and steal things such as TV, stereos, VCRs, game consoles, and more. Now it would be sweet if they brought that feature back in GTA 6 and also added to it a mixture of the heist style missions in GTA Online. Why not give us the ability to do heist missions where you can pick a target, select a crew, gather the equipment needed, and attempt to do the heist? Kind of like how you did playing as Michael, where you do just those things that I just mentioned. But have it as its own separate thing, and not only get to do a handful or so that are storyline specific. After all, I don't want to have to rely on other random online players who either goof off or don't know what the hell they're doing when I try and play heists on GTA Online. Nor do I just want to break into people's homes at night and steal household items. I want to be able to, whether it's day or night, rob banks, casinos, jewelry stores, convenience stores, clothing stores, gas stations, people on the street, restaurants, pawn shops, you name it. Rockstar, again, I can't stress this enough, another area that can create endless possibilities for continued gameplay. Alright, now moving on to number 3, more interactive buildings. There was pretty much next to no interactive buildings in GTA 5. No, I'm not asking for every single building in the game to be interactive, but I feel that asking for GTA 6 to have at least 90% of the buildings being interactive is a fair and reasonable amount. And how about making the buildings from missions and or cutscenes be interactive and accessible after the mission they're in? For example, the stilt house Michael brings crashing down, Lethal Weapon 2 style. It's pretty lame that you can't re-enter the majority of the houses or even that stilt house in GTA 5 after you've done the mission unless you find a glitch in the map and are able to gain access that way. Also, when it comes to interactive buildings, how about with construction projects, and this goes for road construction as well, we have an end result. It's dumb that you can hear sounds of hammering, jackhammering, and so on being done, and even see the NPCs lingering around, but nothing ever gets completed, whether it's on construction sites, building houses, building buildings, or they're doing road work. Whatever. It just stays in a perpetual state of nothing. For GTA 6, let's have it where no matter what type of construction is going on in the game, it gets finished eventually. The next part of number 3, interiors, interiors, interiors. I'm talking everything from clothing stores, grocery stores, restaurants, clubs, houses, apartments, condos, quick stops, office buildings, furniture stores, you name it, it should have interactive interiors. And can we please make it to where we can customize our apartments, condos, houses, or whatever we live in? We should be able to pick the interiors of the bedrooms, living rooms, kitchens, bathrooms, and so forth. A quick sidetrack, we need to be allowed to purchase properties in-game, just like you can online, and we need to have more than one safe/save house. It's kind of ridiculous that you can buy as many damn properties as you want in GTA Online, but if you're playing as Michael, you're stuck with one frickin' safe house. That's stupid. And it would be cool if we could actually go shopping either to the in-game physical stores or even to the store's in-game online websites and pick the stuff to buy for our humble abodes, like posters, art, paintings, statues, furniture, like for the kitchen, the bedroom, etc., entertainment centers, TV, sound systems, pool tables, hot tubs if you want them, and the list goes on. There should be more variety of stores too. For example, GTA 5 has a total of 4 clothing stores we can buy clothes from. You've got Cheap Clothes and Binko, which those two are pretty much the same damn store. Then you've got Suburban and Ponsonby's. So really, we've only got 3 stores to buy clothes from. And there is in real life, as there is in real life, there should be a wide array of clothing stores available to us. Everything from Goodwill to Versace. And on the topic of having more stores, I would like to see stores for weapons too. Maybe ammunition can be a mega weapon store, like the Walmart of, weapon stores, where it has anything and everything for GTA 6, And I'm talking about stuff that you can't get but at that mega weapon store. But also, how about putting in smaller stores that sell just knives and weapons of that sort? One for just handguns and shotguns, one that just sells assault rifles, etc. But putting a limit, and I'm just going to stick with limit, of what those smaller stores can sell. Because you don't want to say, oh, okay, we're going to sell an AR, the GTA version of an AR-15 in a smaller store that sells assault rifles, but then turn around and sell the same damn weapon in the mega weapon store. That's not what I'm talking about. The mega weapon store needs to have the biggest, widest array of weapons and variety of weapons than those smaller shops do. Let's even have black market vendors that we can purchase weapons from, and they cost less than having to buy them, because they're black market, so they cost less than having to buy them from one of the other stores. Or how about they sell those weapons out of the back of their van or trunk of their car? And how about with DLCs for GTA 6, they not just include online-only missions, vehicles, and more, but have those DLCs include clothes for our characters in-game and not just for online only. Same goes for hair and facial styles as well as colors. Music, new products for the various stores that we can purchase. You know how in ammunition, when when Rockstar drops a DLC and we get a weapon or two, that's where it's available. That's when you can pick it up. I'm saying if they can do that with weapons and they can do that with vehicles, they need to do that with everything else that they can do for the DLC online only, but make it for the game itself. Once again, this is an area with unlimited potential and possibilities. And the last part of part 3, dynamic destructive environments. When it comes to the DDEs, I have a perfect example. Depending on how you choose to complete a certain mission in GTA 5 that involves the cargo ship, one of those ways results in the cargo ship half sinking into the water, and it spills the cargo containers on it into the bay, which inevitably sink to the bottom. Now, it doesn't matter if you play the game for 2 weeks or 2 months straight in game time, that cargo ship is still sitting, rather half floating, half sunk in the same damn spot. And what needs to change, using this as an example, is that after you've completed this mission, over a certain amount of in-game time passes, there should have been salvage crews out there working to not only salvage the ship, but the cargo containers as well. And going back to number 3 for a moment, the first part of it, talking about road or building construction and there being an end result, and this will tie in, with everything. There should be a feature of being able to buy/purchase real estate in GTA 6. We need to bring that back, where you can choose what to build there. Now let's pretend an abandoned hospital sits on a piece of property that you can purchase. After you buy the property for X amount of money, you're given a list of choices of what you can build in its place. We'll say for this example, we decide to build high-end luxury apartments. With an in-game timeline, 1 week they're tearing the old hospital down, a few weeks later they're at the stage of cleaning up the rubble, and then sometime later they've poured the new foundation and construction has begun on your new property. This also adds potential for missions as the owner of the property, like but not limited to having to evict tenants for one reason or another, collecting rent from the tenants, making repairs yourself or hiring someone to do them for you, and so on and so on. And what I just mentioned about the in-game timeline and there needing to be an end result to things getting accomplished, done, completed, whatever you want to call it. That is what I was getting to, is that everything needs to have an eventual end. And you can stretch it out over so much time, in-game time, of these projects being completed. Alright, now getting past number 3 and moving on to number 2, new setting/location/time period. Personally, I'd love to see a return to today's Vice City. I know I'm not alone in this thinking, but I also wouldn't mind seeing GTA 6 set in either Las Venturas or San Fierro. Hell, Make them set in both, just as long as you can go back and forth between the two like you could in GTA San Andreas. And Rockstar, you've got to bring back the ability to air travel between the two cities, just like you could do in San Andreas. Anyhow, I don't want to see another GTA set in Liberty City. No offense to anyone that does, but we've now had five GTA games set in Liberty City. GTA 3, Liberty City Stories, GTA 4, The Lost and the Damned, and The Ballad of Gay Tony. So no more Liberty City. And while I'd be happier than a puppy with two Peters if GTA 6 took place in current day Vice City, obviously, I'd be down for a new location entirely as well. Maybe a city based off of Detroit, Chicago, or what have you. As for GTA 6 being set in a new time period, I really don't know. We've already covered the 80s, 90s, 2001-ish, and current. While I wouldn't mind a GTA set in the 70s, the 60s, or possibly even the 50s, but seeing as how, Mafia 2 having already been set in the 40s and 50s and the soon-to-be released Mafia 3 taking place in the 60s, I don't want GTA 6 to follow suit by being set in any of those three time frames. Not just yet. If GTA 6 does, however, take place in another decade, I think the 70s would be far out, man. It'd be an awesome time period for it to take place in. But going any further back than the 50s, like to the 40s, 30s, or you're out of your fucking mind if you want to go any further than the 30s. It's not going to be a good idea. I don't think there's enough people that are like, yeah, I want to play a GTA that's set in the 40s or the 30s or the 20s or the, fucking 1905. No. It would most likely be the death of the GTA series. Okay, so getting past that, and last but certainly not least, yes, we're finally there, and it'll be brief. Coming in at number 1, multiple protagonists aspect. I think this more than speaks for itself. We know it works, let's keep it, and let's make one of the main characters a female. Enough said. Alright everyone, that was my top 10 list of the things I personally feel that GTA 6 needs. I know not everyone will agree with me, and that's perfectly fine. If anyone has anything they want to add to the list, I'd love to hear from you. In closing, I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching my first video of what I hope are many more, not only GTA, but other video game videos to come. A huge from the heart thank you everyone for listening to my lengthy list and explanations. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel as well. Until next time, this is C12 Hawks signing off. Go Hawks and caca, bitches!